Welcome to the Living in Savannah channel. I'm James Headley. While on my recent Scottish holiday, I had both a handful of Americans as well as a number of Scots ask me for my perspective on the real estate market as we get to talking about what each of us does back in our home countries. The discussion was about what's going on in the U.S. in general in real estate. But then invariably, discussion turned to our local market here on Skidaway. As regular viewers know, I provide a regular monthly update on statistics at the beginning of each month, looking at the prior month's activity, as well as providing a snapshot of where we stand at that point in time each month with the landings real estate market. Today, I want to go beyond those numbers to share my take on how I think prospective buyers should be approaching the landings market right now, and why I think that. As always, thanks so much for tuning into the channel and liking, subscribing, and sharing. As I record this episode, there are 23 listings currently across all of Skidaway Island, inclusive of but not exclusive to the landings, which of course dominates those figures at all times. This is actually a relatively high number given that we've seen figures in the low teens over the past year with regularity. So it would be easy for me to say that low inventory equals scarcity of options equals a strong seller's market, and just stop there and advise buyers that if they want a home on Skidaway, they should be prepared to pay top dollar and perhaps enter into a competitive offer situation. While those are definitely still occurring occasionally, in that case, the competitive offer situations or the occasional bidding wars, that's not the norm. So I'm not here today to just blanket advise buyers to be prepared to return to the days of waiving all contingencies and making offers above asking price, sight unseen. Yes, you should be prepared to make a strong offer at or near asking price in some cases. More on that in a moment. But the market is more nuanced and multifaceted than that right now. Of those 23 homes currently listed, 13 of them have been on the market longer than a month, and 4 of them have reduced their price in the past 30 days. Lest we jump to conclusions on the other side of the spectrum and start thinking that everything is overpriced and sitting on the market, meaning we can win with lowball offers, keep in mind that a normal balanced market would have homes on the market for a few months before selling. So a month or so isn't a signal of fire sales on the horizon. And when we look at homes currently under contract, the numbers reinforce that overall trend. Of the 26 homes currently under contract on Skidaway Island, 6 went under contract after their initial listing price was reduced. So, a little over a quarter. Note that, or a little under a quarter, Note that this doesn't mean that the other 20 went under contract at or above asking price. It simply means that prior to going under contract, the original price of the home had been cut at least once. Going one step further, when we look at homes that sold in the last 60 days, 22 of those 40 homes sold for a price that was less than the original listing price. So what's the takeaway for those of you that are watching this and thinking about buying a home on Skidaway this fall? Aside from all my general advice on home buying here that you can find in other videos on the channel, at this point in time, I would suggest that you be patiently aggressive. What do I mean by that? I mean that as long as you are not in a situation where you have a hard deadline for buying a home here, such as the sale of a home elsewhere, do not feel the need to jump at the first home that could work. If you want a realtor that is going to expect or pressure you to buy at first sight, there are plenty of them around, but I want you to get the absolute best home at the best value for you. And from my perspective, this market isn't one where FOMO should be ruling the day. That does not mean that if you see something that you like a lot, that you can expect to sit back and wait for weeks or even months for the price to fall either. We're talking days and weeks at most in the vast majority of cases. And as the closed sales figures I mentioned would indicate, there's roughly a 50-50 chance that the price ever goes below asking. You can't wait for perfection at an unattainable price either in this market. So that's where the aggressive part of patiently aggressive comes in. Together we can factor in the merits of the house on its own, the amount of time it has been on the market, the relative pricing and any recent changes to pricing, etc. And come up with an offer together that makes sense when you see a home that you can truly see yourself in. Remember, those overall inventory numbers remain low, and there aren't any macro factors bubbling out there that I'm seeing that would indicate we should expect to see a significant inventory boost anytime soon. So you don't want to lean too heavily on the patient side of patiently aggressive, or you may miss out on some great homes and still be waiting to live here in paradise and live the landings lifestyle years from now. I hope that this was helpful. As always, it would be my pleasure to speak with you one-on-one so I can understand your specific situation and go beyond the kind of general advice that I provide here on the channel. So please do reach out anytime. And until then, thanks again for liking, subscribing, and sharing, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next episode.